Another bill that got moved through the Senate but was stopped in the House was actually, I think, introduced a request of a local engineer in the Harrisonburg area. It was Senator Obenchain introduced a bill as a special request from someone locally to establish a minimum required inspection frequency for again, alternative on-site sewage systems. That bill got through the Senate but died in the House committee. It was not, the Department of Health didn't feel it was necessary, and anyway, it died in committee on a very close vote, 10 to 12. That completes the key bills. Now, we had a number of other bills that we monitored during the session, and I'm not going to go into those with you, but first I want to say how much I appreciate the fact that you've got representatives from ACEC who worked very diligently through the session to give us information, background on legislation. We sit down every Friday and go through the bills, the entire bill list of the key bills, and Nancy and the executive director of VSPE and Virginia Society of American Institute of Architects, the three organizations have staff representation plus representation from the professions. And that's invaluable to us to have an opportunity to discuss the bills and the impact and try to get a little bit more information about how they really impact you and your profession. And I think you all should give a tremendous amount of credit to those who've served. A number of you here have served. Gosh, some of you go back in the early 80s I worked with on this here today. So we've been doing this since, with the three organizations, probably since about 1986. And it's worked well, and I certainly appreciate the efforts of those who do that. Be glad to answer any questions you may have, as long as it doesn't interfere with our tea time. Yes.
Reggie, I don't know if this is a question for you or Senator Wagner, but kind of along those lines, are engineers doing enough to, I'll say, educate the legislators on the condition of our infrastructure, particularly transportation issues? You know, all the crummy bridges, and you know, sometimes it's a safety issue and all that sort of stuff. I mean, you know, we're supposedly pretty knowledgeable about those kind of things, and ASCE is very active in doing their report card and all that kind of stuff. But do we spend enough time up there knocking on doors and try to sit down with these people that I don't think get it? They don't understand. They don't, you know, they don't see into the future far enough, or whatever it is. But, you know, and we're all busy, well, most of us. But are we doing enough?
Probably not, would be my response to that. We deal more with the present and what we have to deal with from year to year at the General Assembly. You did a report card that I thought was very good. Was that about 2 years ago?
They do it every couple of years.
Well, I mean, it got a lot of press about 2 years ago about the crumbling infrastructure, and Frank's better positioned to know than I am as to what they're hearing. But
let me just say a few things. First of all, not a direct answer to the question, but let me just say this. I can count on one hand and cut off a couple of fingers the lobbyists I truly, really respect, understand. You ask them, and Reggie doesn't just represent you, he represents a lot of firms, and you got the best. You really got the best right here with Reggie. You know, Reggie come in, obviously put forward a position, whether it's your position or somebody else he represents, and you say, okay, you know, who's against this and why? And Reggie will lay it out for you. That's all you ask as a legislator is you know, tell me what's going on. Let me weigh back and forth. And you got one of the best right here. And second of all, if you didn't pick it up in his speech, I always tell folks, you know, 1/3 of my job is passing bills. 2/3 of my job is killing bad bills, okay? And as you heard, it's this. He spent more time talking about killing bad bills than he did passing good bills, and that's very, very important. But to get back to your point, the focus is the House of Delegates. You know, whoever structured this government with the Senate as the longer-term thinking body, as we like to think about it, as opposed to the House as a reactionary body to conditions, and that's the way the government was set up, and I think it reflects that. But you have to get to your House members. Yeah, and God forbid if it takes a bridge collapsing, you don't want that to happen, you know, right? But so much of what we see and do is a knee-jerk reaction to a catastrophic event, as opposed to what we're in the business of as engineers or business people is to prevent that from ever happening. You know, the best thing that ever happened is a war that was never fought. You know, i.e. Reagan. Mr. Gorbachev tear down this wall. You know, right? Beat him economically. You know, right? Never had to fire a bullet. Well, had to fire a few. You know, different countries, but those are the best of best. I would submit to you that it's very difficult in politics to sell prevention or to see the train coming down the tracks, you know, right? Until all of a sudden people are paying $4 a gallon for gasoline. And all of a sudden, oh my God, what happened, you know, right? So politics is the reaction of today, as Reggie said. And leadership, in my mind, is looking forward to the future and planning for the future and establishing that kind of thing. So very difficult, but your focus needs to be, each and every one of you, wherever you go, find out who your delegate is, if you don't know who he is, or she, and get hold of them and say, look, you know, enough's enough. You know, do we have to have one of these catastrophes to be able to actually understand the problems of transportation? That 2017 date, remember what I said in politics, is right around the corner. In politics, that's right around the corner, especially when, you know, I was slam dunked. How bad in the House? You know, absolutely no support for indexing or anything else, you know, just slam dunk. So, okay, I'll shut up.
Any other questions or thoughts or comments? Anything? Well, thank you. Enjoy working with you. It's been now a little over 30 years.
Wow.
Imagine. But it's been a good run with you, and look forward to many more years of it. Some of you don't know, but someone give me a hard time. But I've got a second family now, young children, and some of my friends give me a hard time and say, God, Reggie, you have to work the rest of your life? I said, no, once they're out of college, I'm free. Frank's getting remarried.
I'm getting remarried.